Hey guys, welcome back. Today, as you can tell by the title, we are reviewing 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. This book right here. This book was originally published in 1989. They republished it in 2004, adding an interview with Stephen. And that's the version that I have, is the 2004 version with the interview, which I also did read. So let's get started and go over kind of my review of this book. So this book is kind of broken up into 4 different parts. The first part is kind of like the introduction and the basics of the book. The second part is the first 3 habits, which he calls the private victories. The third part is the public victories, which is habits, the next 3 habits, and then the last habit is the 4th part, and then it's kind of the ending of the book. So the first part of the book, like I said, is the intro and the basics of the book. This is where he explains that he kind of wants you to read it slowly, and that's kind of what I did at first. You can read it however you want, but he kind of suggests reading it slowly, especially during the beginning, so you can kind of gain the information and then apply it to your life, because the habits build on each other. He says to read the book almost kind of like you're studying, kind of like if you are in school, you study, you learn it, and then you gain on that knowledge and study some more. And that's how he kind of wants you to go through these habits. And then also in the first part of this book is when he kind of explains who he is, what he does, the basics of this book. So kind of like the research almost that he did in writing this book, and I think that's really helpful in learning about these habits and why they apply and everything. That helps, kind of just solidifies why you should read this book, or continue reading this book in the very beginning. So the second part of this book is the first 3 habits. Like I said, he calls these the private victories, and these habits are to 1, be proactive. Number 2 is to begin with the end in mind. And number 3 is to put first things first. This part of the book took me the longest to read, because this is when I was really taking his advice to read slowly, kind of incorporate it into my life, and then come back and gain some more, and working on gathering these things and putting them more into my life with these habits. And I'm still, to this day, working on putting these habits in, even though I finished the book and know the other habits and try to practice the other habits. These are the habits I feel like kind of get the basis, but yet you still need to work on them a lot. They're not just simple habits. They're, you know, as he says, as he names them, they are private victories. So I feel like people will work on these the most. And the third part of this book is, as I said, the public victories, which are habits 4, 5, and 6. The 4th habit is think win-win. The 5th one is seek first to understand and then to be understood. And then number 6 is synergize. These habits took me a lot less time to read through, since I was still kind of working on the first 3 habits. You can still work on and incorporate these habits, but it's a lot less kind of studying the habits and fitting them into your life, and more like just kind of acting on them off the basis of the other 3 habits. I also really enjoyed this part of the book because it is the public victory, so that he has a lot of stories kind of like to tell, and it's very easy to understand and see through these stories how these habits work kind of like in real life. And with these habits, it was a lot easier to see how you can incorporate these in your life and how they can affect other people and kind of like your relationships with those people. Since they aren't, you know, personal, they're more your interactions with other people. You can see kind of the benefits of them a lot sooner, or other people can see them sooner, not just you. And so I think it was just a really interesting part of the book to read, and read those stories and see how they work. And the last 4th part of the book is just habit number 7, and then kind of the ending of the book. And habit number 7 is sharpen the saw. With this habit, it's kind of just renewing the first 3 habits personally, and then the second 3 habits publicly. And he says that sharpening the saw is just kind of like renewing these kind of basic principles. It's not like a learn once and forget, or you get it constantly. It's kind of, you have to constantly almost relearn it, but not in like a bad way. Then at the end of the fourth part, at the end of this book, he kind of wraps up the whole idea of these habits in these books and kind of explains them and how he's incorporated them in his life. And he goes back to things he said in the beginning and in the first part of the book, and kind of wraps it all together. And it's a nice ending, kind of like a push off for you to do the same thing. And he also concludes in there that he continually works on all of these habits, his personal ones and the private and the public ones. So it's really kind of an example of that you just need to keep working on these. He is a real example of habit 7 of sharpening the saw and going back through and looking at all these habits and reincorporating them into his life. So overall, I really enjoyed this book. I think I can incorporate it very well into my life and help me really kind of live my life to the fullest and be an effective person, which I like efficiency. So this book really appealed to me in that aspect. I feel like this book has already helped me a lot. One of my favorite things were the personal victories. I'm still working on them, but I think they are really helpful and I want to incorporate them in my life, and I really got a lot out of them and feel like they can help me get to where I want to go in life. My favorite habit, kind of out of the 7, is habit number 3, is to put first things first. This is really important to me because I have a lot of things going on, and it helps me prioritize and get the things I want done. There was also a part in this chapter that included a diagram of sorts, and this diagram is to help you really put this habit into use in your life. If you use a planner, this is a diagram of a planner to help. I use a planner, and so I've used his diagram of a planner. This is kind of the diagram he gives. It's a basic planner, and this diagram, it shows, you know, each day, and it shows different things you can do to help put first things first. And I've used this diagram in my personal planner to help me incorporate this habit, and it's one of the points that really kind of stuck with me and I'm still using to this day since I finished the book. And even reading through the rest of the book, it was one of the things I immediately started doing, and it helped immensely. In the end, if you're thinking about reading this book, I really recommend it. It has helped me, and I think it will continue to help me. So if you're looking to be an effective person, yeah, these are 7 habits I think will really help anybody in general. I can't understand where some people don't believe in some of these things or think it's kind of too general for them, but I think everyone can take a little bit from this book and really learn on and grow on it, and plus it's just an interesting read. So I hope this little review of this book has helped you decide if you want to read it or not. If you like this review or like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, if you want to join, you can subscribe down below, the red button. If anybody has a book you would like me to read and review, I can totally do that. Just comment down below. Comment down below if you have read this book and what your thoughts are. You can start a little discussion if you want. If you like, you can also follow me on Goodreads. I will put a link down below. You can see what I'm reading, what I have read, what I thought about them briefly. And other than that, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.